guys, welcome. This is, if you guys know, I'm Con Wolf. This is Dustin Buyes, and most of you that followed our Facebook pages or Instagrams, you saw that we're going to do kind of a video series covering I try to choose like popular topics that I thought a lot of bodybuilders would be interested in. So basically we're going to kind of just start with kind of like how me and Dustin even kind of met. We both did the 2013 Empire Classic here in Spokane, Washington, and you kind of want to go over kind of how you kind of approached me.
It was actually a week out from the show, and Lionel, which is both of our mutual friends, he just got his pro card natural. Was it two months ago?
Yep.
And he sent me a picture of his back double bi shot, and I was like, "Fuck, he has the overall. There's no way I'm gonna take this." So I messaged him and said that he looked on point and that I'm gonna see him in the overall, and that's kind of how we met from there. And then we started. We met at the show, and I think it was the day before at Wayne's, and then it kind of went from there.
Yeah, we just kind of stayed in touch. He'd been in the Seattle area, I've been in Spokane, so we hadn't really had time to really kind of like get to know each other that well until now. Dustin just moved to Spokane, so now we have this great opportunity to kind of bring kind of like his styles together with mine and kind of make these videos.
Fit your macro stuff.
Yeah, the Fit Your Macros, his kind of more style of meal plans and what he does with his clients. But so that's basically how we met. Like I said, we did he won the overall at the Empire Classic, and then like I said, we just kind of stayed in touch. And then basically, so now we're just gonna go over what got us into bodybuilding. A lot of people kind of have like curious, like, you know, what got these guys into bodybuilding. So you want to start?
What first actually got me started was a really bad breakup when I first started lifting weights actually, and I went to the gym after drinking for a month and a half straight and took out all the anger on the weights, and actually was happy after exhausting myself after the hour and a half, and ever since then I've been pretty much hooked on weights. And then I started to grow, and then had one of my buddies say that I should do a show, and then I did a show, and I was hooked ever since. And that was, first show was 2009 Oregon Ironman. Took 4th place out of 4 people in bantamweight. Nice. So last place for a trophy. You?
You know, it's kind of funny you mentioned the whole breakup thing, because I wasn't even going to mention this, but I kind of realized when I was in high school, I think kind of a freshman, sophomore year, I felt like I was kind of that skinnier yet kind of athletic build. Not like really skinny, but just kind of athletic, but for most people, you'd probably say I was skinny. And then and I was doing football. Football was kind of like, I've always been an athlete, so soccer, baseball, track. And then once I discovered football, it was like my first just true love with sports. And you know, I was in high school. I had my high school sweetheart through my freshman year and sophomore year, and then we broke up, and I was just thought my life was over. When you're that young, when you're a teenager, you think a breakup, it's the end of the world.
Everything's over.
You know what I mean? So I kind of was down, and you know, luckily I met a football coach. His name is Don Whipple. That kind of was like, hey, you know, like, you have all this potential if you just, you know, spend this next off season in the gym. You know, practicing, I was a wide receiver, practicing your routes, practicing catching balls. You can be like on varsity next year. And I was like, oh, you know, I'd never been to a weight room yet. I'd never touched a weight. But like growing up, I will say my father always had muscle magazines around the house. We always had like a weight bench. We had like an entertainment room with like a weight bench. My dad always did like dips and push-ups in the morning. And I still remember when I was a kid too, he took me to a local show in Wenatchee, Washington, and Sean Ray was the guest poser.
Nice.
So, I mean, I was kind of around. I remember like back then too, when bodybuilding was on like ESPN, my dad would like watch that. So I was kind of grew up with around like a lot of bodybuilding stuff. I remember like seeing my dad's, like, I think it was Joe Weider protein powder, and I was like trying to like, you know, take a couple scoops. But basically, yeah, it was like I started lifting weights to get stronger and bigger for football. And like Dustin said, it was like, it just hits you. I kind of feel like once you start it and you kind of realize,
you're home.
It's it. This is like something that I love. Like just feeling like the pumps and like getting stronger, and like I felt like every single week I was progressing in weight. I feel like every single week I was like putting weight on the bar on my bench press, for example. So I just started getting really hooked at the results, and from my sophomore year to my junior year, I think I honestly put on like 15 pounds of muscle without like gaining any fat. And basically too, and the rest is history. I made varsity like my junior year, and then was basically like all conference my senior year, and then got a football scholarship to Eastern Washington University. So
how'd that work out?
So basically, no, it was good. But like once I was done with sports, I just missed that competitive edge. So I was like, you know what? I started following bodybuilding. I started watching I started following like the Olympias, you know, Ronnie Coleman versus Jay Cutler, all those battles in the early 2000s. But I still at that point was still like, no, I can't get on stage and put a man thong on and get all oiled up and flex in front of an audience. I still was like, no, I could never do that. But it wasn't until I actually waited until I was almost 28 years old. I was living down in Arizona, and I just kind of started researching bodybuilding, and I found out that there was actual like natural shows that you can do where it's like, oh, you get like polygraph tested and urine tested. That seems more of like a level playing field. So I literally was like 6 weeks out, and I was already kind of following a diet called it's called the Solution Diet. It was like a low carb, high fat, high protein diet that was very clean too. Like I wouldn't even touch this was like right when Quest bars came out, and I still remember this point where like they sent me Quest bars to like sample, and I wouldn't even try them during my prep. So I was like, no, this is like not clean. This isn't clean. I was all about like Ezekiel bread and just all clean foods.
All clean food.
And I basically just got super lean from this diet without thinking of doing a show. But then once I discovered that there was I started posting progress photos. If anybody kind of followed, I had a thread on bodybuilding.com where I was kind of posting pictures in 2010 where I was kind of documenting my progress. People were like, holy crap, dude, you should like do a show. Like you're like almost ready to do a show. And so I was like, crap, and I saw there was a local show in Phoenix in Mesa, Arizona that I jumped into, and I almost won the novice overall. I got second in that, and then I got third in the open. And down in Arizona, it was a big show. I think I had like 20-some guys in my tall class. I mean, it was a huge show.
It's better than 4.
Yeah, so it was a big show. So I ended up getting third in the open and then second novice, and I just had so many people backstage being like, I'd be like, yeah, this is my first show, and they're looking at me like, what? So I just got really good feedback, so from there I was hooked. So that's kind of how my journey started as far as getting into bodybuilding. So our next topic, let's just go
2 or 3.
Let's go 2.
All right.
I knew this is going to be kind of a longer one. This is kind of the main one where I think it seems like every single day on Facebook there's always something going on. There's wars back and forth. The meal I kind of break it down to like meal plans, clean eating, versus if it fits your macros, flexible dieting.
Right.
You kind of want to start, kind of give your opinion or go over.
How about you start on that one?
Okay.
Because I don't want to be.
One thing I will say is I think that I'm a good person to kind of talk about the topic because I feel like a lot of people have only done one side, and so they can't really give their opinions. I mean, I feel like there's so many people that have only done clean eating and they're sitting there bashing, if it's your macros, when have you ever even tried it? Most people haven't. But for me though, I can honestly say that, like I said, my first kind of, I don't want to count my first kind of contest prep because it wasn't really a prep that was structured right. But I will say my second prep, even though I did like an If It Fits Your Macros program where I had, my coach was telling me how much protein to eat, how many carbs, how much fat.
I was macros.
Huh?
You mean it was just on the macros?
Yes, but I still though in 2011 into my second show, I was so like concerned with all of my food sources being super clean. So like all my carb sources were rice, sweet potatoes, Ezekiel toast.
Right.
All my fat sources were more whole eggs, avocados, olive oil. I wasn't willing to kind of go. I saw a lot of other guys have success kind of going outside the box with kind of the more traditional If It Fits Your Macros foods. But at that time, I still wasn't willing to. I was like, no, I want to get that edge. I'm gonna have like sweet potatoes for my carbs.
Nowadays, anyways, they don't really understand the whole If It Fits the macros right either because they just assume, okay, well, I have this amount. I can not eat for the whole day and eat a burger at the end of the day and I'll be fine. Yeah. That's not. No. True, if it fits your macros, and a lot of people think that, and so that's one reason why it gets a kind of a bad rap at it first.
I will say, I
because
feel like
that's not accurate.
Yeah, I feel like most people, like I said, I feel like because of social media, and you have so many just kind of like, you know, gym. I say like gym people, but I separate gym people from competitors.
Right.
Because a competitor has such a different, especially people that have had success with flexible dieting.
Right.
If you talk to most of them, they're going to have the same.
That's because they understand it better.
Yes, yeah, and most of us all had kind of like quote unquote bro backgrounds where we started off doing a clean eating type meal plan or something like that. Most people we all have that same background.
Cookie cutter though.
So that's still our foundation of our diet. And that's what one thing people don't realize is even though I'm doing IIFYM macros, some people don't realize if you were to sit here and view all my meals through a day, it's probably not going to be
like those Reese's back there.
Well, those are my girlfriends. But don't look at those. But what I'm saying though is most of my meals are going to be pretty similar to what you're eating. You know, I just for breakfast I had eggs, you know, whole wheat toast, some strawberries. You know, my pre-workout meal is going to be some jasmine rice with some coconut oil and a protein shake.
Yeah.
You know, but it is that kind of like, I call it that kind of 10 to 15% kind of little leeway where, all right, you know what, I got like 50 carbs left. I've gotten all my micronutrients in for the day, but it's like, hey, you know what, I'm going to have some low-fat ice cream or some microwave popcorn or some low-fat, non-fat Pringles or something like that, where I feel like a lot of you guys are like, nope, that's dirty food, dirty, you can't have that. You're a bodybuilder, your body's a machine, everything needs to be clean.
It's not really so much a machine, it works on a certain time scale to where your body needs certain foods at certain times. Just like
so you're bigger
like
on meal. You're bigger on meal timing.
It's just like your post. Yeah. What do you have during your post?
That's where I'm more honestly. I'll just kind of have any meal that's usually
protein shake and some sort of some sort of sugar.
No, I don't believe like in the 30-minute anabolic window.
What about your pre? Okay, let's just go with this. Your pre, you usually have more carbs than you do proteins, right?
Well, yeah, I'll do like usually I try to get about 100 grams of carbohydrates.
It's usually more carbs than it is, and it's going to be faster acting instead of the complex carbs, right?
I'm big on digestion for pre-workout because I've learned certain things.
Because
I don't want things sitting in my gut.
It's usually more for the actual energy than it is anything, right?
Yeah.
Exact same thing. It's all times.
But post-workout though, I'm like if I'm just like, oh hey, like me and my girlfriend want to make some pasta, or we're gonna go get a pizza.
But if it bloats you, then you're not absorbing all the nutritionist.
Post-workout, I don't know. I feel like there's more leeway to kind of have kind of whatever you want. This is where we might differ. See, this is where we might differ. I think I'm a lot more open to kind of like.
It really depends on the body type too, because if for you, your metabolism is more faster acting than it is to most people. To most of the people, they.
No, I have to get down to pretty low carbs on my diet.
Most people have usually a very slow acting metabolism, to where they look at something fat and they just gain fat, to where they have to watch what they eat more so than what they would elsewhere, just because they were with someone that was a bad coach, fucked up their metabolism, thyroid issues all messed up, so they have to watch what they eat and also get that stuff fixed to where they wouldn't be able to go if it fits your macros crap.
Okay, well, kind of going more to like, let's start with, go more into your beliefs, like what you believe in. I know your meal plans, right? Meal plans, clean eating, that's
6 to 7 meals a day, usually about 2 to 3 hours apart each, because that's when your metabolism.
See, so it's funny. So my crowd of people are gonna sit here and now they're screaming, bro. They're screaming, bro. 6 meals. You're the everything typical. You must have 6 meals a day. They must be spread 2 to 3 hours apart.
Because your body works on the science.
Okay, yeah, there we go. If we're talking science, I know, but science has proved that meal frequency doesn't matter.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
It depends on the body type too.
Okay. But I feel like, in my opinion, I know the whole thing, should you fit in your whole macros in one meal? No, I think that's stupid. But I do think
and a lot of people think that's how it is.
But I do think there's not going to be a difference, though, if somebody wants to fit their macros in 4 meals as opposed to 6.
It also depends on if they're in prep or it's also the off season too. Because your metabolism starts to work every, what, 3-ish hours, right? It starts to kick in, right?
I don't even know if I agree with that.
Why? Because
I don't want. We don't need to break down metabolism. Like I said, let's just keep this to just. I want to hear now why you don't believe in if it fits your macros.
It's not that I don't believe it. It's just the point to where I think I don't know enough on it to where I feel that it. Because right now I have about 3 clients on the whole if it fits your macros crap.
Yeah.
And I say crap just because
you heard it. You guys heard it.
Just because it does work, but I don't fully know enough in it to say that it's this revolutionary.
But be honest though, you really think with competitors that use it, you feel.
We've already been down this road before in the past 2 years though.
And I've heard this a lot from competitors, from a lot of people. I will say that
we've had arguments on it for hours on this.
Yeah, we can. But I do feel like a lot of people. This is kind of one of the things that you'll hear is if it fits your macros is a good diet to lose weight.
Right.
But it's not gonna. You're not gonna get that elite level of conditioning. Correct. I feel like you hear that a lot.
People that are, I would say, 200 pounds overweight, and they can't follow an actual diet, whether it's with mental issues or if it's with work schedule, anything like that. The whole if it fits your macros works great for them because they will lose weight, but if they want to get down to a certain percentage and have it timed out, I think that clean eating every 2 to 3 hours, 6 to 7 meals a day, certain foods at that time is going to be the best fit.
I will say, I think it does really depend on an individual because I will say that for the I have a lot of clients, the general public, that are just, hey, I don't want to ever compete, I don't want to be a bodybuilder,
but they want to be healthy.
Hey, yeah, I just want to be healthy,
right.
I just want to lose weight. So I feel like, hear me out, for the general public, I don't feel like they need to be on a meal plan that's just limited to.
Agreed.
Oh my God, this is an average Joe Blow. You're telling me I can only eat sweet potatoes and brown rice and chicken breast and egg whites?
Agreed.
Like, how are you supposed to, especially people that have families, that are married, like, you're going to sit there and eat all your meals separate?
Which makes perfect sense. That's why I have a couple clients, and I will openly say that I do, if it fits your macros stuff, I won't say crappy more stuff, just so you feel better about it. Yeah. Because it does work, it does help you lose weight, but I feel that if you want the best results quicker, strict dieting is going to be the best bet, but not everyone's going to be on that point. Not everyone wants to do shows, not everyone wants to look a certain way.
Yeah. Again, and I will say, I do understand, I have had some people, and I will, a lot of people that followed my last client, Robert Sykes, he kind of came from a total super clean eating background, and even though we were doing kind of if it fits your macros flexible dieting, I feel like he still though was just so like I can't eat any foods outside of like his just main chicken and rice and but that's the thing, I will let that's the thing, you gotta realize even with clients though, if just because I preach if it fits your macros and flexible dieting, if I have a client that's like, hey, you know what, I want to fit all my macros with just whole foods, clean foods, all that stuff, I'll be the first one to say, awesome, perfect. I'm not telling people, hey, you need to have Pop-Tarts, you need to have this, but again though, it just depends. Each person is different though. Like when I diet, I'm probably the equivalent to like a pregnant woman. I feel like I fucking crave like everything. I'm like, oh my God, I need sugary stuff, I need salty stuff. So that's where I get like really creative, and a lot of people that follow my last prep, I made like protein cheesecakes, protein brownies, to kind of curb my sweet tooth.
But if the food
I'll still eat salty stuff.
If the food bloats you, you're not absorbing all of the nutritional facts from it, right? And then it's going to stick more, right?
I still feel though.
Right though?
I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that because I just still feel like as long as at the end of the day I'm still hitting my fiber requirements, so I'm still eating green vegetables, fruits, getting adequate amounts of fiber per day.
But if it bloats you, you're not absorbing it.
I still think it's fine. So I personally still think it's fine.
So you're not getting all of the macros if it's going to bloat you and you're not absorbing all the nutrients, right? And again, this is what we think. This is an actual. What, do you want to say facts on it?
Yeah, no. Like I said, all we're doing is giving you guys
our opinions on it.
Our opinions.
So
we
don't
aren't
read too much into it.
Yeah, we aren't scientists, you know what I mean? Like, I personally this is why I love to follow the big names in nutrition, like Alan Aragon, you know, Lane Norton, some of the bigger names in nutrition that I follow for more of like my science stuff. I'm not trying to be them, but this is just kind of stuff that, you know, I feel like I've learned over the years, and then that I've applied into my preps, and that I've learned from coaches. So that's why we kind of like, I wanted to do these videos because I knew we'd be coming from total opposite ends of the spectrum here, as far as, you know, like our backgrounds in nutrition and whatnot, and our beliefs. Like I said, a lot of stuff, like I said, a lot of the I'm more of like into the, I feel like natural bodybuilding, we're very like into the science of everything. And I feel like this is where a lot of bros though kind of clash.
It's not like bros though. It's
well, I feel
more,
like a lot of
coaches do the whole cookie cutter diets.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's what gets the bad rap. It's just like if it fits your macros to where they're going to fit all their macros in the one meal.
Yes.
It just gets the bad rap on that part. Everything has to be custom per that actual person, to whether if the metabolism isn't fast, you have to figure out a way to, you know, obviously get it faster. If they have some sort of thyroid issue, you have to figure out T3 and T4 levels to get it fixed, to where their metabolisms are going to, you know, go up or down. There's science behind it. It's not bro.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying though is I feel like one big thing that I feel like when I kind of started really kind of like whatever, when bro science kind of started getting big, it usually was a lot of guys where it's like, well, you know, I eat tilapia and broccoli, you know, 6 times a day. I got shredded on it, so that means I'm going to apply it to you.
Correct.
So, because it worked on me, so it should work on you.
Which isn't true, right?
Yeah, BS, because everybody can diet on certain amounts, lower amounts of carbs,
right.
higher fat.
Everybody.
Yeah, what I have a problem with though is you see so many coaches though, again, but it's like their methods are only like, to me it's pro science, because it's like, well, you know, I do low carb, so I'm going to have all my clients on low carb because it worked for me, so I'm going to do it on all my clients, even though you might have, you know, this guy over here that can diet on 3 times the amount of carbs, but now you're literally having to suffer on 50 grams of carbs through a whole prep, when the guy could be dieting on 300.
So, you know, and with me, I'm almost like a girl wanting. I am carb sensitive, to where I work better off of the actual fats than I do carbs. Most males aren't. They prefer protein and then carbs, because that's how it just works better. With me, it's just more the opposite, kind of, to where it's not the same with everybody. To where people don't get that, to where they feel that it's just bro diet, to where it's, you know, this and this. Although the tilapia does have omega 3 and 4s, to where it does help lose fat. That's why people put other people on it.
It's all the tilapia claims that you see with all the crap fish and stuff. I don't
But
know
it has omegas in it though.
Yeah. What about when people say, here's another big bro thing, are you a believer, do you think that tilapia thins your skin?
No.
Okay. That's a big one that's
just my personal opinion on this.
Yeah, people, you've heard that though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna add in white fish for the next 4 weeks to really thin out your skin. My whole last prep, I didn't have fish once. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't think that a certain food
for the Empire of
source,
2013, you were just if it fit your macros.
Oh, I had a pint of
I know.
Zero
I know.
ice
You
cream.
showed me. I know.
I think
I know.
4 weeks out, every single day. This was all through peak week. Even the night before the show, I had a pint of it's Arctic Zero though, which to me, people will say, "Oh, you had a tub of ice cream." I'm like, it's really like not. It's like watered down ice. It's not a true like. I think it's like dairy free too. I think so. But yeah, people will be like, "Holy crap, what is this guy eating?"
Not everyone could do that.
I think that's where a lot of people sit there and they say, "Oh, you know what? I can't, you know, eat foods with any sugars, or I can't eat foods with this much sodium." Like, you know, I can show you people that came from, you know, obese backgrounds that do flexible dieting and have freaking gotten shredded for shows. So I feel like a lot of people kind of feel like they have this like kind of stigma in their head that they're like, "Oh, I can't eat certain foods because they think it's just like with gluten and shit. People say they're trying to
That
say
they're
now
gluten free when they're eating bread 5-6 years ago.
yeah, exactly. So I kind of feel like a lot of people have this misconception that, oh my god, I can't eat this, I can't eat this. So many people, and this is the one thing I kind of hate though about the fitness. It's supposed to be kind of a healthy sport, right? But it's like people have all these like food obsessions and like they have such horrible relationships with food. Like so many women.
Because there's not a lot of good coaches out there.
True, but then people, oh my god, I had a cookie. It like ruins their day. They feel so guilty for having a cookie. Where it's like, oh my gosh, it's just like,
If it's closer to show, then obviously
that's one thing, yeah.
right. But if it's not that big of a deal. But it's more focusing on the diet.
Yeah. I think kind of concludes. I think this is a good. I know we could talk about this for hours and go
Which
back
we have.
and forth, but let's just